Hello everyone, my name is Brian Carter. I'm going to do a Pro Tools video for you, but I thought I would choose a little bit of a different type of topic. So this video is going to be about track naming. Now I chose this topic mainly because, as you know, when Pro Tools 9 was released, for many users, they basically doubled the amount of available audio tracks. So now when we receive sessions, the sessions are not only bigger, but it just takes longer to wade through them and kind of sift and see what's going on. It could be so much easier if there was at least some type of commonality in how tracks are named. So I want to suggest a method that you can use to name your tracks to make it not only easier when you're exchanging sessions with other Pro Tools users, but also just looking at the computer screen or a control surface, it'll make it easier to know what the track is that you're looking at and what should be routed to it. Here's what I mean. So here's the session template I'm going to work with. And as you can see, I have an assortment of audio tracks, some for vocals, background vocals, guitars over here, basses. Over here I have quite a few instrument tracks. And as you can see up top, I already have various virtual instruments that are already assigned and basically ready to roll. So all I have to do is record and enable these tracks, and I'm ready to start recording. Now I also have multiple input tracks, and some of these input tracks are basically used to reroute audio. For instance, I have all of the guitars that are ultimately routed through this auxiliary input track. So it's kind of like a submixer, right? Here's my bass tracks. They're all ultimately routed through this auxiliary input. So again, this is basically a submix. That's why these are typically called subs. And another set of auxiliary input tracks are over here. And these are my effect return tracks. You can see I have different effect plugins on these tracks, right? And last but not least, all the way on this side of the mixer, I have all of the VCA tracks where I can control various groups of tracks like these. Now, what I want to do is I want to focus on the VCA, the subs, and the effect return tracks. And here's the way I'd suggest you consider naming them. So let's start with the effect return tracks all the way over here on the far right. So you can see I've got plate, room, and delay. But more importantly, in front of that name, there's a small x. So small x, and then in all caps, whatever it is, plate. Here's the next track, small x, room, small x, delay. So it's an effect return track. As soon as I see that x, I know exactly what it is. Next, let's take a look at some of the subs. So here's my background vocals. Here's the sub track, the sub mix basically of all these background vocals with a small s in front of the name. So small s, and then in caps, exactly what it is, background vocals. Same thing with another one, like for instance, here's the bass, small s, and then bass. Simple, easy. As soon as I see that small s, I know it's a sub mix. And by however it's named, I know exactly what's going into that sub mix, right? Last but not least, the VCA tracks, small v, and then whatever they're controlling. Small v, in this case, BGV, background vocals, or small v, GUIT, I know that's guitar, small v, bass. So now in the session, I can easily distinguish my subs, VCAs, and effects returns. And the same goes for when I'm looking at my control surface. You can see it's just much easier to know exactly what that track is. And again, just by the name, I know what's routed to it, and I know the exact track type.